And we're in. So, minutes of the previous meeting. Moved by Councillor Anderson. This is the previous meeting of April 21st and the closed sessions of April 7th. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, that the previous minutes of the February 4th, 2020 regular council meeting and the January 21st, 20 council closed session are approved. Okay.
Sorry, Mayor Bridge, that again, it should say regular council minutes of April 21st and closed session minutes of April 7th. I don't know why that reverted, so.
I know,
thank you.
I said it first and then now you 4th and 21st, you already did that. Okay, so April 27th, April 21st and April 7th is the one we're voting on. All in favor? And, okay, we're good. Okay, reports requiring direction of council, verbal reports. Now, Derek, are you going to, or Annaline, are you going to call up the people for these verbal reports in an order of some sort?
Yeah, yes, Mayor Bridge, I can go ahead and do that for you.
Oh, I got fire chief, if that's how you.
That's fine. We start with Fire Chief Chris Harrell.
Right. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Good afternoon, everybody. My update's going to be pretty quick and painless. It's pretty much the same. We're business as usual. Still responding to calls and still working away. The only thing that's not normal still is our training. We had a great training meeting last night with our training officers, and we're looking at hybrid ways of coming up with offering training in internet and then in really small groups that we can start getting back to some hands-on training once they let us open it up. So other than that, we're all working away and busy and trying to stay afloat here.
Okay. Excellent. And I'm going to open up to questions after each one. So Deputy Mayor Turton.
How are the calls? How are the calls up or down, and any what's the situation with the little fires in Palmerston?
So I just the fires in Palmerston, I just got off the phone with Bruce Aiken, Staff Sergeant Aiken, and he said that they're having no issues and haven't heard any complaints, and we haven't had any more calls since the press release come out. So hopefully that helped to ward that off. I think also the increased traffic. I know I've been walking on the trail a lot, and the increased traffic helps a lot because it deters people from loitering out there. And our calls actually, knock on wood, like on my desk here, but are trending down right now. And I've heard that across the province, a lot of calls are trending down because people are staying home and not traveling and being safe at home. The only calls provincial-wide that are up are actual house fires and structure fires are up because more people are cooking at home and they're not very good cooks at home.
Good one. Anybody else? Thanks, Chris. Next up, Roads and Drainage Manager, Mike Macisaac. There he is.
Good afternoon. So we're into day 2 of the Highway 89 road closure there with the South Saugeen Bridge, and it is still proving to be challenging out on our roads. We're still trying to figure out some options for extra signage, even working with the OPP to see if there's something that we can do in an immediate situation. Any proposals that have come to the table so far, it still sounds like it's going to be about a week before they can have anything in place. And then our construction is also scheduled to start on the 11th. So with that in place, it should relieve some of the tensions out on some of our roads. And one other hiccup that's been noted is Municipal 511. The project on the South Saugeen River, it actually is shown on Municipal 511 as being in Mount Forest. So they're trying to sort that out, which will also help with the long haul truck drivers that are being misled right now. I guess the next project is Ann Street. We have it's about, I'm going to say about over half of the pipe installation is complete to date. So they're clipping along pretty good. Street sweeping finished up today. So the streets are looking pretty good out there. The guys are starting with the topsoiling and the repairs from the winter operations. Cemeteries are being cleaned up as well, since Mother's Day is coming up on the weekend. We're expecting a little bit more traffic in the cemetery areas. Belinda and Taylor's banners, they were installed. So if anybody's been out and around to see the
Good.
3 communities, they're up and in place. And I think that's about it for right now.
Any questions for Mike? Councillor Elliott.
Yeah, Mike, how's the traffic going through Harrison? Has it been down quite a bit because of this?
Well, I have seen an increase in volume over the last couple weeks, definitely from the start of COVID. So people are obviously moving out and around quite a bit more. Yeah.
Heading probably to the cottages now.
Yeah.
Thank
Deputy
you.
Mayor Turton.
So, Mike, when we start Arthur Street, the people that are going towards Mount Forest, are some of the signs that are people that are going out Arthur past the public school, are they going to be directed down Elora to the roundabout out the blind line, especially when you get out in front of Lawrence on Lawrence Avenue and the Catholic Church? It's gonna be blocked right off, correct?
Yeah, for a certain time length, it will be completely blocked off. So for any of the business access or for any of the access, there's going to be signage directing traffic to use the blind line and the 8th to come back into town from the backside. Yes.
So the Arthur Street will be blocked off, likely out at the blind line?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Yeah. Local traffic only is still able to come back in. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that know what's happening because Pam and I go walking quite a bit and people stop and want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah. That was good.
Anything else for Mike? I know, Mike, we're getting a lot of calls on the boulevards and all that stuff. And so I guess maybe social media, we might be able to get out social media and say that we're in a process of working on those.
Yes.
Maybe I have to talk to them just because I know as soon as the weather gets not bad, everybody thinks that you can fix theirs right. But there's a process. And now that you got the sweeping done, I was talking to you, you're looking at the next steps would be to get there and do some of the damage from plows and stuff like that are happening. So
yeah, exactly. Over the next couple of weeks, we hope to have all that wrapped up. Yeah.
So maybe we'll get something out in social media just sort of keep the pressure off all the calls coming in and talking to everybody, but that's what I've been getting. Yeah. Okay. And again, you and I've talked about the issue out at O'Dwyer's Road, and that's just not a good situation there because where they've got the bridge stopped, we've only got 2 gravel roads that they're turning right or left. They can't go down that little bridge because it's only 5, a single lane bridge, a transport trailer out. And I've been seeing the transport trailers going up on O'Dwyer, and that's not an easy thing for a transport trailer to go down O'Dwyer Road. So if we need to work out to the ministry on that, we'll get out to them because I think it's important that we get that message out there. We're getting lots of calls. I'm getting lots of calls. I don't know about anybody else about people down O'Dwyer and 12th line, which we don't want them to go down either because it's got issues as well. So we're working on that. Judy,
Yeah.
you have a question?
You said what I was going to say. I think we need to get out on it early and let MTO know that our back roads are not meant for highway traffic. Certainly in the past, there's been some dollars sent our way to cover that kind of thing. And I was out to Mount Forest this morning, and yeah, it was crazy. The 12th line was crazy busy, and yeah. So yeah,
you went down the 12th line, did you, Judy? Because you knew to go down the 12th line, but some of the people are going 89 and having to go up O'Dwyer's Road to get to the 12th line. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'm a local, so I think I can drive on town roads, but I think it's the other people. But that detour around is a heck of a long way around. Like you're asking people to go to Tividale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a long way around, and I think there's going to be not that many people that do it. So I think that we should be making sure that we look into having MTO help us out a bit with that.
Yeah, we're on that.
Good.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is Todd. There he is.
Hello, everyone. On the water side of things, it's just normal operation and routine maintenance. The only thing that's a little different we have going on right now is we're in the midst of our spring flushing program. So we're done Minto Pines and Harrison already, but you'll probably see the guys out in Palmerston and Clifford over the next couple of weeks. Other than that, it's business as normal.
Thanks, Todd. Questions for Todd? Nope. Thanks, Todd.
Okay, thanks.
Wastewater, Mark. There he is.
Good afternoon. Yeah, so obviously, as usual, first priority is staff safety with us. So we're continuing to contact all of our operators daily, make sure that they're feeling good physically and emotionally. Yeah, and it seems to be going well so far. As for operations, we still have to provide a good quality effluent to the environment, so we're continuing on with all of our sampling and process adjustments and everything like that. We're also staying with all of our preventive maintenance programs that we have in place. It's a monthly work order generated program, keeps the operators fairly busy. And we're also currently hauling biosolids and land applying them from the Palmerston Wastewater treatment. So that's keeping this plant pretty busy over here. We have shut down the discharge operations from the Hairston Lagoon. The operators are pretty happy with that. That process can take up to 3 hours a day to do the process. So that's nice to be done with that for the season. Concentrate on some other work that we have planned. We had an interesting issue at the Clifford Lagoon over the past couple weeks. We actually had something lodged in the discharge pipe, and we had to drain the whole effluent cell in Clifford. Anyways, we got the blockage out, and we put a screen over it to make sure that issue isn't going to happen again. I thought it was important to mention it because we used our new 6-inch portable pumps that we flood mitigation in Hairston. So it was nice to be able to use some equipment that we had on hand and get it out and exercised and get some maintenance done on it as well. We've also done a couple manhole and catch basin repairs out in the streets, and we're continuing to work on our inspection programs to do with our manholes and I&I. That's important that we keep working on those as we're doing that this spring. Emergency operations are way down, which is a really good thing. So our messaging must be getting out to the public, letting them know about the wipes and the proper places to dispose of them.
Excellent. Good. Questions? Deputy Mayor Churton and then Councilor Dirks.
So Mark, you talk about the discharge in Hairston. Is this early normal discharge completion, or is it we're right on with other years?
Right on. Our environmental compliance approval sets the date at the end of April. And we shut down on the 28th. So.
And so with Clifford being partially blocked, are they giving you dispensation to go on, or give you another couple of weeks to finish up the discharge there?
They might if we ask for it, but we were already in pretty good shape there. So we'll just hold off until the fall. So
how big was the turtle?
Roughly the size of the pipe, I guess. Good guess.
Yeah.
That was my question, whether it was an animal or whether it was, somebody had stuffed something in there or what the case was, but it was an animal then, was it? Or a reptile?
Yeah, it was a turtle that got lodged in there, and that kind of just speaks to the quality of the effluent.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was told you could drink it, Mark. I was told you could drink it, but nobody wants to volunteer. But that's
I can get the blast.
Any other questions? Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mark. Belinda.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see everyone's faces. So yeah, where we're at or where we've been the last 2 weeks, this has been a reaction phase of our response, and I think we've handled it pretty well. Over the last several weeks, Summer and I have been calling and individually emailing businesses. I've mentioned that before. As of last Friday, we have called on 182 businesses, and 73 of those have been touched more than twice. And we still have more calls to make this week, but that'll probably wrap up our calls. We may not have hit everyone, but we've hit a large majority of our businesses in Minto. And they're all very appreciative of our calls. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to go at this stage, if people were going to be upset and taking it out on us with what's been going on. But no, everyone's been really good to deal with, very understanding, appreciative. And we've been able to help quite a few people out with that. Launch it. We are wrapping up our first phase of webinars in, I guess it started March 27th till the end of April. We hosted 6 webinars with over 360 attendees, which is awesome. The rebranding of Launch It couldn't have come at a better time. And because of all this, we now have 425 people on our newsletter list, which we didn't have before. So all great news there. The Think Minto First program now has 40 businesses participating, which is great. So encourage everyone to get their Mother's Day gift cards this weekend. Also, the 2 Hort societies are participating. So that's going pretty well. I think there's over $2,000 in sales to date. We're also been working very closely with the rec department on the reopening of the community gardens with that new announcement a couple weekends ago. So that's been an interesting process, and Al and his crew are out in the field getting things ready, and I'm on the back end contacting all the plot holders, working with Matt on invoicing, and working on all the materials to get into the hands of the garden holders, because they will need to sign off on stuff. This past week, we also hosted meetings online with our cultural roundtable and all 3 of our downtown revite committees. Mike mentioned the banners, so thanks to Public Works for getting those up earlier than normal. I think they look really good and add a lot of color. We have more plans in the works for downtown to add color, so hopefully we can get at that soon. Taylor continues to do the social media stuff, and our numbers continue to rise. As of the end of April on Facebook, we have over 2,700 followers now, and the engagement has been quite good on Facebook and Instagram. Over 5,000 people are seeing our posts. Yeah, it's been good. And lastly, just the farmers market, continuing to figure out what we're going to do there. A lot of our vendors are Mennonite and Amish vendors. So not sure if the online platform of ordering and picking up is going to work. And to be honest, the farmers market stuff changes every week on what we're able to sell. One week we're only allowed to sell produce. The next week we can sell jam and produce. So at this point, we're still not sure what direction we're going to be able to take with the market, but that's where we're at.
Questions?
Linda, the community.
Judy, and then Judy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Belinda, I took in a couple of the webinars last week, and they were really well done and really informative. And some of it, doesn't, just like everything, it doesn't always apply to everybody, but certainly there were some really good tips and so on. And so just thanks for finding those good things for our businesses in Minto.
Yeah, and a shout out for last week's webinars. He was an amazing presenter, and without the partnership with Mapleton and Wellington North, we probably wouldn't have been able to afford that gentleman. So our Northern Wellington partnership has really paid off in hosting these webinars as well.
Yeah, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Deputy Mayor Turton, and then I think Jean.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. So in talking with some of our businesses, they are pretty amazed at the town staff and yourself, Belinda, talking with them there. That really makes a lot of people's day. Second thing, the community gardens. How many do we have in Minto?
There are 50, I want to say. No, probably even more than that, 55. So in Harrison, we have about, off the top of my head, 25. Palmerston has 20 and Clifford has 10. We do have some plots available. So we have 1 plot available in Palmerston, about 7 available in Harrison, about 4 in Clifford right now.
Thank you.
Jean, did you have a?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just had a question. Do you have any idea, Belinda, of how many businesses are sort of hanging in there, think they can manage a few more months? Are there any businesses that are at real risk of closing because of all of this? I know the town people have been pretty supportive of the people that have an online presence, but not all of them do. And I'm thinking they're really struggling, or I expect they will be.
Mm-hmm. So we know of 1 business that has closed. I have not talked to any other businesses that have said they're going to close. Yeah, they've all been pretty good at taking advantage of the programs that have been offered. There are some people that are still falling through the cracks, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, and we still don't have any details around the CFDC, what they're doing. Like, it's not the CFDCs, they're waiting for instruction, but
Right.
that's what we're waiting for to help those ones that are falling through the cracks. But we're also waiting for, the county did a survey actually all across the Western Wardens area. They do one every month, and we're just waiting for the stats from that. I think they said this morning there was 98 businesses across Wellington that did that survey, and a majority were from Minto and Wellington North, because we're really pushing for that information. But in speaking to people, they've all been pretty good to speak with. Nobody's told us they're closing.
Are you at liberty to say which business it is that has closed?
Yep, it was Grandpa Scott's restaurant in Palmerston.
Okay, all right.
And just on a couple of notes on the Western Wardens project, and involved in that. Getting those surveys back is really from all the counties, and they go to FCM, and they also go to all the MPs and MPPs in everybody's counties. So it's really important for the other 2 levels of government to see that input from our businesses. And as you say, we're on the ground, we see it, we're able to bring it to the next levels of government. And those levels then have come up with some good programming. The $40,000 loan program, after the one county went ahead and did almost $1 million on our program, and I think it was 4 from
Minto.
Took place. Also looking at the CFDs. Did I say CDFs? I was right. CDFs. CFDs. Yeah, I always get that mixed up. CFDs. They've got some more money coming, but we don't know exactly how it's rolling out yet, because they got money from the federal government, but all the rules and regulations haven't come. And some of that will be loans and some will be grants. So it's an opportunity for us to work together. And I think Belinda knows, she's been on lots of calls. She sits on the economic development board, and she's spent a whole day on the calls with them at one day. So we're getting a lot of feedback going back to the levels of government that have the money to get back to the businesses. So Jean, it's a good point. You know, we got to be there. We got to be for them. And you know, today there's a lot of stuff about agriculture came out as well. So those are all things that we've been giving that input into the province, into the federal government. And so now we're seeing some of that coming back, and we just got to keep that up. And I think down the road, the next step will be from economic development, Belinda, and we've talked a bit about it today at the county call, was the fact that we're going to have to get a program together to see how we open up businesses as we go forward, and how do we get the economy back rolling. So I think the provincial and federal government will be looking for municipalities to be the spearhead of that, and I think we have to be ready. So looking forward to some of those discussions and going forward.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was just going to quickly say next is, so right after this week, we will be transitioning from our reaction phase into our response phase. So our webinars will probably lighten up unless there's something coming down about how people can reopen. We will look to offer those. We're also working with the chamber and working with local suppliers sourcing PPE. for our businesses. We want to make sure that we're ahead of the game and that not when they're told they can open, that's when they go looking for stuff, that they have access to it now. And so we do have quite a few businesses in Minto that have access to that stuff. So that's really good. So we're working on that right now, and then hoping to work with the county on an economic task force, sector specific, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Belinda. Next up is Al Carr. Is Al here? He's unmuting himself. No, it's Gord Duff. Gord, you don't look like Al. But that's all right. You're not up yet, Gord. There he is. I see his name. There he is. Welcome, Al.
Sorry, guys. I hope everybody can hear me okay. It's nice to see you all. I'll be quick with this. We are continuing our methods of communication and safety protocols, parks and security trail checks, as we normally would. With the facilities being closed, we continue to be doing maintenance in our facilities, mostly painting, cleaning and organizing things. And our staff have been busy readying areas for cross our fingers, the reopening of our parks and some of the activities in the town. And I guess in saying that, if there's any questions.
Questions for Al? Yes, Deputy Mayor Turton.
Not a question, Mayor Bridge. It's just a statement. Al, thanks for getting that bridge back in down by the ballpark in Hairston. I know that there's quite a slew of people that walk down there and turn around and come back. Now they can go straight through. So thank you.
Good. Okay, thanks, Al. And next up would be Matt. There he is.
Yep. Hi, Mayor Bridge, and thank you. Just a quick update. We continue to work on items that were included in the April 21st update. We are looking at expanding our online programming, including more Make and Move Minto, and actually doing a babysitter course online through Zoom. So we're going to try that next week, 4 to 5 o'clock from Monday to Friday. We have 8 kids signed up, and if it goes well, we're going to run another one later in May. We've got 7 kids interested in that if next week goes well. We're consulting with local groups and service clubs about contributing to our YouTube channel. We had a virtual meeting on Friday at 2 and 7 to go over this concept with interested parties in more detail. So essentially, we've got some content with Make and Move Minto, but we know there's other groups out there that might want to create something, or they are creating things, and we just want to try and centralize that to one page on our website and our YouTube channel. We've got it there, so may as well use it. I'm keeping in touch with other rec departments in the area about summer plans when it comes to pools and day camps, taking in webinars from the Life Saving Society about what opening might look like this summer. And then finally, we held a PRAC meeting on the conference call line where all members were present. That was last Monday, so about 10 days ago. And just to keep the group, the committee up to speed on our situations. So that's all I have for now.
Thanks, Matt. Any questions for Matt? Matt, how was the Jess's? I know she was doing crafts. Did you get a number of how many people were on it last time, or?
That's something I could put together for our next report. The first one had quite a large response, and the other ones it's dropped off a wee bit, but it's nice, especially for the kids that know Jess from program, to see her. It's not just some other person from somewhere else that's putting these videos together. So definitely I'll pull some stats together for our next report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else? No. Okay, then next up is Terry.
Thank you. So from my department, planning and bylaw services are operating the same as they have in the last few weeks. We're starting to explore how we can do virtual public meetings, but we haven't quite got there yet. From the building end of things, there's a lot of confusion with the updated essential business list that was updated last week. The announcement sounded like there was lots of things opening up. However, it actually was extremely limited. So in addition to the permits and inspections we were able to issue and perform before, Really the only projects that are open back up are mainly industrial applications for warehousing and distribution that the permits were issued and construction started prior to April 4th. So those are projects that started and then got shut down so they can restart. The only other thing that has opened up is site preparations for all sectors. So for new development, you can go and do all the site prep work, but you can't actually start building. So I got numerous calls expecting that the residential end of things had opened up, but unfortunately, in reading the legislation opposed to the press releases, that wasn't the case. So, and that's all I have.
Okay, questions for Terry? Yes, Councillor Elliott.
Yeah, Terry, I wasn't sure about this, but houses that were already started continue. Is that right until they're finished?
That's correct. Any permits issued for new houses can, whether or not they've started even to date, they can keep going and get occupancy. Any residential projects, whether they've got permits or not, aren't able to go ahead. So residential decks or sheds, those projects are still on hold.
Oh, they're still on hold, but if they had started a deck, they were okay because they had the permit.
Nope. As soon as April 4th occurred, we were unable to do any inspections on those. So essentially, they could only go to where the next inspection stage would be, homeowner or contractor build, and then they've got to wait until we can actually go out and perform the inspections.
So when we're building a house and you've done electrical, then they could only do to the next.
No, brand new builds are okay, but like your garden sheds and decks, we can't go out and inspect those, so those are on hold. But new residential dwellings, they're still good to go.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. Any indication, Terry, have you got any crystal ball when they're going to open up residential?
I'm hoping soon. There's a lot of people looking at building stuff, and I'm assuming a lot of people have started building stuff, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that's they're going to start opening it up very soon. I really hope so.
Rich?
Thank you. Definitely. Yeah.
So
yes.
Terry, you alluded to the date, April 4th. You can't go out and do inspections. Are they saying you can't, or who's saying you can't?
So we're not listed as an essential, or sorry, the businesses that aren't essential, we can't go out and inspect. Essential projects, we still are. We've done inspections every day, but it's just for the non-essential projects that we're not able to.
Gotcha.
Okay. All righty. No other questions, and I'll turn it over. Next up and is Gord Duff, the treasurer. Gord, there you are.
There. Hello, Council. Good to see you again. Nice to hear you. So finance, we've been busy with all the usual stuff of collecting the money and paying the bills and getting payroll done. We've also been, like everyone else, I think we're all trying to come to grips with the new rules, and Caitlin's been looking at from a health and safety point of view, and maybe have to modify some procedures and that. Again, I've been working closely with the county as we all try and respond as best we can to the situation, and working on different grant reports and other normal things that still have to be done. We've had our first water and wastewater bill issuance and collection since the pandemic began. And I'm pleased that our collections were very good. I think just down about 7% or so. And Lori's been working with Public Works to ensure that spring burials and normal burials are taking place too. And we'll probably be talking about tile drain loans soon too. So all the normal things, and just, supporting everyone to start the reopening whenever that may be.
Thanks, Gord. Any questions for Gord? Nope. You got a report later, Gord, so I'll let you get it. Annalene.
Hi, sorry. So I continue to work from home. I'm providing legislative services, agendas and minutes, of course, answering general calls that come in through the office. Currently, I've been a little busy with the Trees for Minto, with our Trees for Teas offering. We are about halfway sold out. So if there is anyone that you know that would like to order some, they can contact the office at 519-338-2511 extension 230, or email me. My information, of course, is online. And that's about it. Of course, the Zoom meeting, which of course Matt has been really great in bringing this forward with us.
Thank you. Questions for Annalene? Councillor Anderson. Yep.
So what is the variety of plants in that tree? I know we talked about it earlier, but they hadn't all been selected.
Certainly, see if I can remember them all. Everyone gets an apple tree, either a dwarf or semi-dwarf. You don't get a choice in that. You can choose either a rose bush or an elderberry bush. Everyone will be getting the plant lemon balm, and then they don't have a choice, but there will be different kinds of mint, spearmint, or echinacea in the kit. So it'll be 2 plants, a bush, and an apple tree for $20.
Okay. Can we just call you?
You can call me. You can email me. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Good. Thanks, Annalene.
Thank you.
Now I'll turn it over to Derek to sum it all up. There he is.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. So as always, I continue to represent the organization in a number of conference calls, both at the county and different levels of government. I'm currently working on our staff resourcing and staff deployment areas, and also working on, hopefully with good news, getting everything ready for us to open in a safe way for our employees and for members of the public as well. So we're working through that. And I'm also working with the department heads and our treasury department around increasing, developing financial reports for you for budget versus actual. So I'm very excited about those reports, and also trying to prepare a forecasting model for you to let you know where we currently are and the assumptions that we're going to make on current forecasting of where our revenues will be and potentially our expenditures as well. So I'm very excited about all this kind of new stuff as we move forward. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have, members of council.
Questions for Derek? Okay. Thanks, Derek. And
Sorry, Mayor Bridge.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Deputy Mayor Turton's going.
So the internal stuff and the variances and where we are financially, when do you expect something like that to come forward?
That's a great question. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We're hoping to have at least one of those reports available to you for the next council meeting.
So that'll come to us before the meeting. Will that be enclosed? How do you figure that rolling out?
No, it's a public report. It'll come to you through your normal agenda packages, and it'll hopefully be March. Will be budget versus actual, and it's a new report for you. So we're because these reports are manual reports, we have to put them together. They're not system generated because we don't have that type of system. It allows us to tweak them to what you want to see, what you don't want to see. So we're very excited about showing it to you for the first time, and hope that you'll give us some comments on the information.
Yeah, and I think if I'm right, Derek, we're hoping that we'll get some feedback from the group to make sure that we've covered the basis that we kind of wanted to. So
yeah, absolutely. And our treasurer and deputy treasurer have been working really hard on the format of this report. As I said, we don't have a system that it's automatically generated and populated, so we've got to pull it from other sources. So it is labor intensive, I won't kid you, but I think we all agree it's important for information for you to see that, and I don't believe, from my review anyway, you've ever had that type of report before. So I'm very excited to see your reaction when you see it, and hopefully we're moving forward with these great reports.
Yeah, and I think sorry, Ron, do you want to go first? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just a thought came into me there. I'm wondering about, we're all working from home, right? Is there ever a possibility when we start opening up again that we find that people could continue to work from home? You don't have to have everybody out, or do you think that will that change? Or
well, you know what? That's a great question, and I think you know, I think a lot of industries and a lot of businesses are going through that very thought process right now, where I think a lot of people had been successful and very productive from working from home. And I think you're going to see a lot of industries change, especially those that have to rent very expensive real estate, whether it's a head office in Toronto or somewhere like that. I think you're going to see a complete change. I think you're going to see, you know, real estate in those large cities may not be as attractive anymore when they see the numbers from people working from home. And of course, we've got, you know, some people working from home, and it's something we're going to look at too. You know, we're going to look at, you know, what is the need versus what are some of the savings if we actually continue to have some folks work from home. You know, so it is a great question. I know talking with Belinda and another economic development person from another area, that these questions are starting to be asked around, wow, do we really need this office space? Like, do we really need that kind of layout? You know, the production has been pretty good. I think that's changed a lot of people's minds around people working from home. So that's a great question, Councillor Elliott. And I know we as a senior management team will be looking at it as well. But I think globally, really, I think people are going to start to look at it now.
Right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it for the reports, verbal reports, and now we're going to turn it over to the treasurer. I think, Gord, you've got a report on the revenue coordinator, financial relief. There, Gord.
That's right. Thank you, Mayor Bridge. So again, one of the first responses that we had to make in mid-March, it came at the time of our first interim tax installment, which was due on March 27th. And again, working with the county and other compatriots. And as both the mayor and Belinda have noted, we don't have the deep pockets to offer relief to our residents and to our business community. We can support them. But one thing that we all agreed that we could do is that for people that are having a tough time, and again, there's been some wonderful provincial and federal programs, but they all had some lag time before they were implemented. So what we decided to do was waive penalties and interest on all our taxes for the March payment, which is basically April. We also extended that to our water and wastewater bills, and we'd like to do that retroactively for the April 1st and the May 1st. And our proposal for June is to continue to waive penalty and interest on current balances, but tax arrears, we would start to charge that again too. And that kind of, in our minds anyway, it suits the timing of our interim tax bill, which is basically to cover the first part of the year. And our residents and businesses and that have been very good at still making the payments. We're not recommending any changes to the due dates because some other municipalities are maybe skewed a little earlier in the year. Their first payment is February and their third is June and that. But ours are spaced out quite well. So our next payment is due at the end of May, and then we have one at the end of September and November. And we're not proposing any changes to that at this time anyway. So if you read my report, to actually do the mechanics of this, we have to modify our interim tax bylaw, which we passed at the first meeting of the year, and also our fees and service charges bylaw. And it's in two places. We have the finance charges and we have the water and wastewater bills. So we thought it's something, it's not insignificant to the town. Again, crystal ball again, but we may lose 30,000 in penalties and interest and maybe 9,000 in water. I think that's going to be high now because people have really tried to pay, and I think everyone realizes these are just deferments. The bills are still due, and just like our bills are still due. And even if, as you're aware, the province is going to allow us to defer our school board payment in June, but that just means a double one in December. So you don't really want to take advantage of it if you don't have to. So anyway, that was what our thinking is after much discussion.
Okay, and I'm just going to move the resolution moved by Councilor Erickson, second by Councilor McKenzie, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives the April 27th, 2020 report from the Treasurer and Revenue Coordinator regarding temporary financial relief, and that the 2020 tax levy 2020-01 be amended such that the penalties and interest on all unpaid taxes are not imposed on April 1st, May 1st, and the amounts and penalties and interest also be waived on 2020 unpaid taxes on June 1st, 2020. The interest on the unpaid water and wastewater amounts are not to be imposed from April 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2020. That certain other financial service fees on paid accounts receivables are waived for this period. So then I'll call for anybody who wants to have a discussion on that. Judy?
So just for clarification, this means then that taxes that are paid by the end of June then would not incur any interest or penalties. Is that right?
Basically, yes. We would start charging interest on those taxes that were owed, like for 2019 and 18.
Yeah.
We'd start
sure.
that again on June the 1st. But other
Yeah.
than that, yes, that's right.
So 2020 interim taxes, March and May payment, if it's paid by the end of June, it would not incur interest or penalties.
That's exactly right.
Right, okay, thank you.
Hey, any other questions? Have a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Nothing. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So next up is the bylaws, I guess, eh? So moved by Councillor Gutson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Turton, at the bylaw number 2020-26 to amend the interim tax bylaw 2020-01 be introduced and read first, second, and third time in Pasco Council and sealed with seal of the corporation. All in favor of that, raise your hand. Opposed? None? Okay. Resolution moved by Councillor Gutson, seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor Turton. The bylaw number 2020-26 to amend the interim tax bylaw number 2020-01 be introduced, read first, second, and third time in Pasco Council seal of the corporation. Did I already do that one? No, that's it. All in favor of that one?
Oh, that's a different.
Sorry, Mary Bridge, I think, yeah.
Is that one the one I did already?
I think it is.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yes,
I
it's
didn't
the same
move my
one.
page up. I didn't move my page up. My fault. Okay, moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Anderson, that the bylaw number 2020-27 to amend the fees and charges bylaw 2019-102 be introduced, read first, second, and third time passed on the council seal of corporation. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none. And then the last one would be moved by Councillor McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, at the bylaw number 2020-28 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto respecting the meeting on held May 5th, 2020, introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor? Passed. And then the last one is moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Dirksen, that Council of Town of Minto adjourn to meet again with the call of the mayor.
Could I ask a question, George? Quickly?
Yeah, on which one? What do you want to ask?
It's just a question that I want to bring out. I wasn't sure where it was going to happen, but I'm getting all kinds of calls and all kinds of people asking me if the dump's going to open. And I wonder if you got anything from the county about that, because people are cleaning out stuff and there's garbage.
All I can say, Ron, is that they've had meetings and they were supposed to. Hopefully, we'll get a bit of an idea tomorrow at the county call, because they're going to bring it back up at the county call. But I've been getting all those calls too, so they're trying to figure out something. Okay.
So encourage them if you can.
Yeah. Well, I think that's encouragement's been out there. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. All in favor of adjourning? And adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.